Alright, hello friends. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Sophie and this is everything I wrote in 2021. I still can't believe it's 2022. We don't gotta talk about it. So, just as a precursor, this year was not the powerhouse that 2021 was. If you want to go see a little bit more progress, you can go watch that video from last year, but this year was a little slower. It is what it is, you know? So, we're just gonna go by month. Some of the months aren't in here because I didn't have any significant things. If I forget a significant event in this, my bad. But, like, my memory from this year is 0. So, let's hope I didn't forget anything too major because that would be pretty embarrassing. Anyways, January. So, I started off the year pretty strong. I finished draft 2 of Project What? I did it out. I have that whole journey on here. It's like my main project of this channel. And my main project in life, I guess. But, you know what I mean. So, if you want to go see that, I'll link it up there. But that was it for January. So, February, I finished my sci-fi draft. If you remember, towards the beginning of the year, my writer friends and I did these like week-long writing challenges where we set up goals and tried to finish them in that first week. Mine was a certain number goal, I think it was 10K, and I ended up finishing the sci-fi draft. So, kind of cute. What isn't cute is that I'm still revising that draft. Even today. Finished it February. It's almost been a year, and I have not finished reading it. We do not have to talk about it. Alright, and then March, I started and finished the first book of my fantasy series. If you were here during that time, this was when I was like, ooh, I'm gonna write all 4 books in the fantasy series right after the other, one a month, and then I'll be done, and I'll have them out, and I could work on them. That was very courageous of me to even say I could do that. I do not know why I thought I could do that. Because this is the only month that it worked. And apparently, this like whole year is just a series of semi-failed goals. But we're working with it, you know what I mean? We're working with it. Alright, and then April, I started book 2, as I anticipated. But, as I said, I didn't finish it that month. I finished it later in the year. And then, as well, with my writer friends, we did this, like, prompt roulette thing where we gave each other writing prompts secretly, like, we didn't know who it came from, and we had to write a story on it. And this was the first one, I think, or the first one I finished. I think it was the first one that we did, because I only finished 2, and we did, like, a ton throughout the year. But this was the first one I finished. I think I finished the other one in August. I think that was August. But I might be fixing those up in the future and like sharing them online, like probably like Wattpad or something, just because they're short and they're simple and they're fun, and I know this is like, oh, I want to read what you're writing, so I thought I'd put like a little something out, and those are like just for funsies stories, so like it's not going to be the end of the world if I release it before I edit it the way I want to, you know? Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's what I'm looking for. Anyways, just 2 of those. One in April, one in August. Pretty nice. And then, in May, Madison from Madison Peck, link in the description, and I finished our co-writing draft. First draft, all done. First co-writing draft, I think for both of us. And we celebrated with a writing stream. I will also link that, because it was very fun. We made cakes. And recently, we started working on that again, too. We are completely plotted, and we gotta start writing. And that's honestly the hardest part. There will be more of that co-writing project in the future. Then, skipping over June, we're into July. This was the month of Camp NaNoWriMo where I was trying to write the mega project with my writer friends. That did not go well. Do I even have to say that it didn't go well? I feel like at this point you can assume that it didn't. This year was just not winning. But there was definitely an attempt, and I hope I'll be able to pick up the story later, when I have less to do, I guess, because I really like the premise of it. It's just that I do not have the means to work on it right now. Alright, and now we're skipping over August again, just because the only thing I did in August was the prompt roulette. And we're into September. Here is where I finished the second book of my fantasy series, and it was after this that I realized I needed to do a lot more reworking if I wanted to write books 3 and 4 So I stopped after book 2, and I am still working on that. Fun. And then November was NaNoWriMo with Project Jade. And then who would have thought I did not win? I got like 5,000 words in the draft. But if you saw my plan for 2022, you would see that I'm still trying to finish that draft. Because I have the whole story like ready to go, I just haven't written it. So I'm going to try and finish that so I can have it done. And then for December, yesterday, literally, because it's the first when I'm filming this, my other co-written project, the sci-fi one, I think I've mentioned it before. I have to. Yeah, the sci-fi co-written project. Me and my co-writer are beginning to work on it again. So excited for this one too. December we did a ton of world building and we started plotting out the trilogy, and we are diving more into book 1 first because, you know, we're switching off chapters. We need to have a pretty solid plot or this whole thing is gonna go downhill fast. And I also started writing Project What? Draft 3! Yay! I wrote like maybe 3,000 words earlier in the month, and then realized, like I said in my plans for 2022, I started writing it, figured out that a different scene later in the story could be the opening scene, so I scrapped all the stuff I had already written, and I'm starting it over again. And I have like 1,000 words in draft 3 right now because of the scrapping. But I like this introduction a lot better. It's a lot faster and just flows better. So, I mean, I can't complain. You know what I mean? So that was everything, basically, for the year by date. But I actually have 4 other things that I kind of did throughout the year that just happened between things. They don't really have any major set dates of start and finish. They kind of just happened and they're kind of still happening. So here are those 4 things. First, revising Project What, getting it ready for beta readers, sending it out, and then processing that feedback. That was like a whole, like 4 or 6 months doing that whole thing, I think. I have vlogs on it. I should know, but I don't. Then also for my sci-fi co-written project, me and my co-writer kind of worked on developing the story throughout the year because it changed a few times, so we were just adapting with each change, and now we're at a really solid point. So we're really close to actually starting to write this new draft. So, yes. Then, the constant reworking I've been doing on my fantasy series. I have videos out on it, and that is still going on because, boy. And then lastly, kinda plotting out the trilogies for both Project What and my sci-fi, since those meet up in a final 7th book. But when I say kind of plotting them out, I mean like barely. I've figured out what the stories are going to be about, like the main motivations and the main plot points and how they're going to end and how they're going to blend in for Project What. Project Star is still in the dark. I don't even know. So, barely plotted those out. But it has happened. But that is basically it. That was my whole year. It wasn't crazy like 2020 was because I didn't get to be home as much. RIP. Anyways, how did your year go? Hopefully it went well, hopefully it was nice and productive, you hit your goals, you got some stuff done, you know? Super fun, super cute. If you'd like to share, I'd love to know. And if not, thanks so much for watching, thanks for being here, thanks for hanging out, and hope to see you in the next one. Peace. Wow.